here I am, disappearing again for a little bit and then coming back. So, if you're new here and you struggle with your mental health or you have a loved one who does, I definitely recommend you subscribe. I post videos, I used to post videos every Monday and every Saturday. On Mondays I do Mental Mondays, and on Saturdays I do Serial Saturdays, where I go into the mind of a serial killer that I, seem to be fascinated with, fictional or non-fictional. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a notification of when I post a video. And also, subscribing kind of lets me know that, you support what I'm doing and that you like it. So, yeah. So, a lot of you who are very close with me or have been following my Instagram and my YouTube channel for a little while now know that I have struggled with depression and anxiety and PTSD. I've struggled with depression basically my whole life, but I found a way to overcome it in a sense. Obviously, you can't 100% just get rid of it. It still lingers sometimes, but I found a way to overcome it just because my depression mainly stemmed from a lot of very traumatic events in my life. I have had suicidal tendencies. I had only 3 significant times where I attempted suicide. I never actually fully followed through. That's all I want anyone who watches this to know is you're not alone. As alone as you might feel within the confines of your mind, you're not. As low and lost and hopeless as things may seem right now, I want you to know that they will get better. They do. They always do. And what you're feeling, the pain you're feeling, is temporary. It's gonna go away. It's not there forever. Yeah, it's super painful, and yeah, you probably just want to scream and yell and cry, and you want it to just end, but don't do that. Think about how your loss is going to affect the people around you. And you may say that no one cares about you, or you may think that you may not matter or that you're a burden, and I'll tell you what, even if the people around you may be emotionally abusive or physically abusive or maybe verbally telling you in some way that you're not. Because there is at least one person out there where your presence and who you are as a person matters to them. And I know that voice in the back of your head tries to pull you down and tear you down and tell you that all these negative things that people are saying are true, but they're not. They really aren't. And that voice in your head that tries to convince you that it's time to walk away, it's time to give up, it's time to take your own life, don't listen to it. It's like a backseat driver. And that backseat driver is trying to take the wheel of your life and run you off the road. You have control of your life. You have control of that wheel. You decide where it goes, not this, not whatever this is. So I want you to remember that. A lot of times people assume that it's a cry for attention or that it's a way for us to just take the easy way out. And I'll tell you this much. Anytime that I have ever thought about taking my own life, I was never thinking about myself. I was thinking about how much less of a burden I would be on other people. So to anyone who's watching this because they have a loved one that suffers with suicidal tendencies, self-harm, or depression, I want you to know that it's never your fault. It's not your fault that someone takes their own life. It isn't. It's completely of our own will and decision. And hopefully my story of how I overcame what I did and how my loved ones helped and supported me throughout all of that will help someone else. When you're depressed or you're having suicidal tendencies, your mind goes. Like, you can't control you can't control, like, that spiral. It is a spiral. Like, it's just a deep, dark spiral that you go down, and you just feel like you're drowning. You feel like you're drowning. That's what it feels like. You have just an utter sense of hopelessness. So if I were to describe what it feels like, that's what it is. If you read my blog, like, some of the traumatic things I've been through, so I'm not going to go through all that. But when I was 13, I wasn't having a great time. A lot of stuff was happening in my household as well as at school. And that is when my first attempt happened. I had written letters to, like, each one of my family members. And I remember hiding them somewhere where I knew someone would be able to find them. Not knowing afterwards, like, the foreshadowing. Anyways, so I wrote letters at first to every single... Like, I had been planning it for a while, and I was noticeably withdrawn from everyone. I was, like, overly affectionate with especially my younger brother. And my sister and I, we used to argue, and we still do. Sisters always argue. My sister and I would argue when we were kids, and right before my first attempt, she tried to argue with me, and I just tried to, like, I tried to shut it down because I wanted it to be, I just wanted there to be peace between us. And I remember with my parents, I was, like, hugging them and, like, being overly nice to them, and they kind of asked me, like, what's going on? Like, is everything okay? Yeah, everything's fine. I was like, I just want a hug. And they're like, okay. And then with my friends at school, it was like I was saying goodbyes to people in a weird way. I don't know how to describe it because I really don't remember. But again, like, I'm 13, so no one's really going to know, what's really going on. So anyways, then I had gone to the bathroom, and I shut it and pretended like I was taking a shower, and tried to end my life. And right before I was about to, my little brother, who at the time was, he was 5, and he used to love playing video games with me, and he knocked on the bathroom door, and he was like, Sabby, he goes, let's play video games, let's hang out. And I remember stopping midway through what I was doing and going, oh my god, what am I doing? No, I can't do this. Like, I heard that little guy's voice, and I just went, no, I can't leave him. And so I stopped. And then 2 weeks later, my grandmother on my mom's side was doing laundry, and I forgot about the letters. She found the stack of letters, handed it to my mom, and I remember coming home one day, and my mom was like, Sabby, what are these? And then we talked about it, and both my parents talked to each other, and around the same time I had mono, not from kissing a boy, actually. I shared a water bottle with the girl who had it. So my parents had assumed that because I had mono, I then had, maybe it caused me to have depression, because that was a symptom that was quite prominent with mono, so that's what they had assumed. However, I still struggled with it the rest of my life, so anyways, then I was put on medication, and for me, the medication didn't really work, and I'll tell you why. I'm not against it. I think, if people need to be on it, they should be. But for me, it was different because it was just putting a Band-Aid over everything. Like, I wasn't dealing with anything. I was just taking a medication hoping to feel better instead of dealing with what was my emotions and what was really going on. So the third time that I had attempted was actually last year. And last year, my depression was at its absolute worst. On July 4th of 2019, I went to a friend's party with my ex, and great guy, nothing to do with him, amazing dude, he was there for me the whole time. Anyways, I So we went to a party, and I remember talking to friends recently around that time about my depression. I was drinking, and a lot. Like, I wasn't paying attention to how much I was drinking. This is what prompted me to go sober at that same time. Because I had assumed that I had a drinking problem, but I didn't. I just had really, really bad depression and didn't know how to cope with it, so I chose really unhealthy ways to escape. And that's another video I'll do on a different time. And something triggered me. And you know when you're already emotional and then you drink and you get more emotional? Well, that's what happened. So, I remember running to the bathroom, crying my eyes out, panicking, just thinking that I wanted to die. That's all I was thinking. That was my motive. So I was looking around in that bathroom for anything that would do it. Guess who I called and FaceTimed? Because I had texted him saying, like, please come get me, like, I don't want to be here anymore, like, and I didn't want to go home, and I said some really dark stuff. And my baby brother FaceTimed me, and he's seeing me just, like, cry, saying over and over again that I want to die. And he talked me down from it, and he said he doesn't really remember what he said, but I remember exactly everything he said. And my brother, after seeing the state of me and how bad it really was, because my family this whole time didn't really understand how bad it was. They just kind of figured, she's sensitive, you know, she has a lot of emotions, I don't know, like, maybe she's going through something, she just, whatever. My baby brother told everyone what had happened. And the next day, I got a phone call from my dad, who was like my best buddy. And he goes, Sabby? I go, yeah. He goes, I think it's time to get you some help, buddy. I go, yeah, I agree, Dad. I don't want to feel like this anymore. I didn't like it. If I can tell anyone anything, it's this. And as perfect as people's lives may seem on the outside, and as, you know, happy as they may seem on the outside, sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you don't really know what's going on. You don't. So check up on people. And notice some of the signs, like, I mean, I can't really point out the signs of, like, suicidal tendencies because it's different for everyone, but mine are pretty prominent with some of the ones that are pretty typical. So, you know, if this resonates with you and you feel like this is familiar to you, or, you know, you feel like you're going through something like this, I urge you to seek help. Help is out there, and it's not scary. It's not scary to get help. Trust me, you'll thank yourself. You really will. I always link all the resources down below, so please utilize those. Yeah, so I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your night, and I will see you guys next time.